Secret transmission intercepted. The Jedi Council has intercepted an encoded transmission of General Grievous. However, Republic intelligence officers have failed to crack the new encryption code being used by the droids. Fears escalate that the Separatists are about to mount a major offensive. Having located the source of the transmission deep in Separatist space, the Jedi plan a counterstrike to capture an enemy decoding chip, which will allow them to understand the transmission and thwart the Separatist plot.
Greetings, Bucketheads. Mavar Tigar. Welcome to the 170th delightedly distracted by D-Squad episode of Mando Vision. Nargai Tom, and thank you so much for checking out this small, independent Star Wars podcast. Make sure you're reaching out to us on social media. It's a great way to interact with us. Tell us what you're thinking, feeling, enjoying about Star Wars. Find us at Mando_Vision on Twitter and Instagram. You can email the show, mandovisiontom@gmail.com, for your long-form thoughts. We welcome those as well. Please be sure to like, subscribe, share, and follow the show with all the other Mandalorians in your covert. How is everyone doing? Welcome back. We're kicking off a new arc for Star Wars: The Clone Wars Season 5. And this is sort of a much maligned series of episodes, I should say. This is the infamous D-Squad episodes that focus on specifically R2-D2 and you know, a couple of other astromechs and some crazy adventures they get into in a mission, in a covert mission against the Separatists, trying to get back to the Republic, and shenanigans ensue. I honestly, again, like I said, it's much maligned. I really do enjoy these episodes. We are pro-droid on this podcast. We believe in droid rights and droids as a valid life form, and we support everything droid. And let's be honest, is there a Star Wars fan out there that doesn't want a droid in their life, that you wouldn't like to have a counterpart like R2-D2, like BB-8, maybe even like C-3PO if you're kind of into chattiness? I mean, having a droid, that would be pretty cool, man. I think that's right up there. I mean, listen, as far as like best friends to have in a Star Wars context, like Chewbacca is still like number one. Like, he's the best. Having a Wookiee best friend, that's pretty rad. I don't think that can be topped, at least not in my opinion. But I'm a dog lover, so you know, Wookiees and dogs, just kind of, it's a whole simpatico thing going on there. But droid is next. Having a droid buddy, I think that's a good route to go. I adore the droids, and again, these 4 episodes that we're going to be spending some time with in the next couple of weeks are fairly infamous. But if it makes any matter to you, if there's any importance to attach to this, the second installment, A Sunny Day in the Void, which again is probably the most maligned of all the episodes in the series, is also the maker's favorite. That is right. George Lucas himself has said that A Sunny Day in the Void is his favorite episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Now, is he messing with people? Is he joshing? I don't think so. We know his affinity for droids. I mean, he made up a whole new word. Droids. I mean, the man loves droids. I totally buy it. I'm into it. I love that energy that he's putting out there. Excuse my pen click. That was right into the mic. My goodness, unprofessional. Anyways, so yes, we do like these episodes. They're going to be, these might end up being some of our shorter podcasts because other than listening to Colonel Meeber Gascon talking, it's just a lot of beeps and boops in these episodes. And I don't know how much beeps and boops I'm going to record for the show, but we're going to do our thing. We're going to keep the format as is, as much as possible. And speaking of Colonel Meeber Gascon, he is basically the only biological life form, especially in these first couple of episodes. And we spend a great deal of time with him. He's a Zilkin from the planet Great Zilk. And this is our first time meeting this particular species. There is another Zilkin mentioned in the time of the Resistance, but that was in a I can't remember if it was a comic or if it was a novel, but it was a Rose Tico supporting story, and there was another Zilkin supporting character in that book. But this is the first time that we're getting to meet a Zilkin, and we are meeting a thirsty a thirsty Zilkin as he wants to climb the ranks as fast as he can, and we get into some fun stuff with him in the second episode in particular. But yeah, so brace for Colonel Meeber Gascon over the course of these episodes. I also want to talk about the droids themselves that we get to spend a lot of time with, because there's R2-D2 obviously. Now, what's interesting about a lot of this, and we will play the opening clips here from Mace Windu speaking and Meeber Gascon addressing the droids, is that most of these droids that we're meeting are the droids of Jedi Knights, with one exception. And we will talk about that too. So let's go ahead and meet our droids. Again, R2-D2, who is with Anakin Skywalker. We get to meet QT-KT, who is Aayla Secura's astromech. M5B2 is the droid of Terra Sanube. And U9C4 is Thungala Jur. Now, the other droid that we will meet is a pit droid. Now, we're very familiar with pit droids, though we haven't spent a lot of time with pit droids that are as effusive, as communicative as WAC-49. And he belongs, or is with, shouldn't say belong, we don't want to treat droids like property. Not a fan of that. He is with Clone Commander Neo. And he is sort of the foil for all of Meeber Gascon's bluster, if you will. He's the one who kind of calls him out. Now, I think WAC-49 kind of gets off on the wrong foot here with a lot of the fans initially, because he kind of comes off as a little overbearing. He's overarching. He's trying to be more than he is, which is okay. But he comes off a little strong, especially in this first episode. But I think by the time we get into the second episode in the series, we have a better idea of who WAC is, and I think we like him, and we like that he is sort of the one who is able to verbalize when Gascon is being a bit much. And that is really what this episode is going to spend a lot of time with, because our Jedi Fortune Cookie for this week, and actually, let's go ahead and do all the propers first before I get into the Fortune Cookie. But WAC and Meeber Gascon are sort of tied into this Jedi Fortune Cookie for the week. So let's go ahead and talk about it. This is Season 5, Episode 10, Secret Weapons. Our original air date was December 1st, 2012. Our plot: R2-D2 joins a team of Republic droids known as D-Squad, led by Colonel Gascon. Their mission: to steal an encryption module from a separatist dreadnought. Our voice cast this week: Steven Stanton is Colonel Meeber Gascon. Ben Diskin is WAC-47. Matthew Wood is the Battle Droids and the Super Battle Droids. D. Bradley Baker is Dr. Gobchower and the Super Tactical Droid Out-O, A-U-T-O. How do you want to say it? I say it Out-O. Terrence T.C. Carson is Mace Windu, and Tom Kane is our narrator. So yeah, this episode written by Brent Friedman, directed by Danny Keller, and our Jedi Fortune Cookie for the week: humility is the only defense against humiliation. And again, Gabber Miscum, Oh my God, I'm getting the G's and the M's mixed up. Meeber Gaskin he's a bit of a blusterer, right? He's got a lot of bravado for someone of short stature. And again, you don't judge me by my size, do you? No, we do not do that. But Meeber sort of has that stereotypical prototype kind of Napoleon complex, right? He's making up for his lack of height with a big attitude and some big energy that maybe doesn't match up with his skill set, and he has to kind of come back down to earth in this episode to achieve the mission, right? Like, he can't just boss these droids around. They're not going to do what he wants them to do because, again, they are a life form. They have personality. They have their own way of doing things. R2 in particular is a prime example of this. But we get to see much more personality from very different astromech droids in this episode, and I think it's really, really fun. And Meeber has to come to the realization that he can't just order them around. Droids are the droids of the Star Wars universe are quirky, to say the least, but they have their personalities and they get things done in their own way. And Meeber has to sort of come to that realization if he's going to achieve the mission and get the promotion that he thinks he's going to be deserving of once they achieve their goal. So let's go ahead and get into the episode. I went on way longer in this opening than I intended to, but it is what it is. Pay special attention to the beginning of the episode. You'll notice that the traditionally yellow Star Wars: The Clone Wars logo, which we have seen in red for the signaling the return of Darth Maul, it is now blue in tribute to R2-D2, and it stays blue for the next 4 episodes of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. All right, let's do it. Let's get into it. Again, this is Secret Weapons, episode 10 of season 5. You know what to do. Strap on your buckets. Let's go.
Time is not on our side, so I'll make this short. You droids have been chosen for a very important mission. There's an encryption module on board this Separatist dreadnought. This device is scrambling all Separatist communication in the region. We believe you 5 can get behind enemy lines, infiltrate the vault without drawing attention to yourselves, and steal that encryption module.
So there's Mace Windu laying out the mission parameters. If you're a fan of World War II stuff, history, or even just the movies themselves, you might notice there's a bit of a similarity here with the Enigma device. You know, the code, the encoding machine that the Germans had that was giving the Allies fits and until they were able to recover one where they're not able to crack these German military codes. So it's something sort of similar going on here with this storyline. They need this device so they can crack the code because they believe there's a major offensive coming to the Republic, and so they want to get ahead of that as much as they can. As Mace is finishing his speech is when we are introduced to WAC 47, it's 49. It's WAC 49 who makes his way into the room, and again, WAC comes off strong, and Mace kind of put him in his place. So as Mace tells him to fall in line with the rest of the droids, he does so in a very interesting fashion. Now, as I mentioned before, each of these droids that we meet in this is with their Jedi partner for the most part. Again, Aayla Secura, Tara Sinube, and Thangala Jor. And then it's Clone Commander Neo who brings in WAC 49. But again, WAC has a lot of personality, and he's going to assert it really. Again, we're going to get to know him real quick here. And this is an amusing bit. I like this.
So I hear we're gonna be taking out Separatists.
I will be honest. Some of you may not make it back.
What? Why is he looking at me? Were you just looking at me?
There you go. See? That's a good bit. And now we're going to get our introduction to the Colonel himself, Meeber Gaskin. So I really like the way that Mace goes about introducing Meeber, right, the Colonel, and building him up as like this great kind of like war hero. He's been with us since the Battle of Geonosis, one of our top strategic minds. And then the door opens, and we kind of pan down to the diminutive stature of Colonel Meeber Gaskin. So again, we get that diminutive stature of him. But again, this is Star Wars, and we're not supposed to think bad things just because someone's not like the prototypical hero type. That doesn't mean they can't do the amazing things that we know that people in Star Wars can do. But again, they sort of seem to be leaning into this small man Napoleon complex kind of thing with Meeber. And that's okay. We're going to do this thing. But let's kind of hear how he addresses the droids here. He takes over the briefing from Mace. And basically, it excuses the Jedi's there so that he can talk directly to the droids and sort of issue the plan of action here. So let's go ahead and kind of hear and get the first taste of Meeber's bluster.
Now, I'm only going to say this once, so turn up your audio inputs. Once we're inside the cruiser, we make our way to C deck. That's where their communication center is housed. We bypass security here and here, divert the super battle droids here, then we break the vault code, beat the swarm mine, steal the encryption module, and return home in time for my promotion ceremony to Brigadier General. Are we clear? Good. That's what I like. No questions.
So there you go, our first taste of Meeber. And the plan's so simple, right? It's like, defeat the battle droids, get past these mines, do the thing, get the thing, go home, get promotions. Bada bing, bada boom. It's Star Wars. It's not going to work like that. And again, the droids, they're not like the droids of the Separatist army. That's sort of like the key distinguishing thing we have to remember here. The Separatist droids are very much like the more typical mindless automatons that we're sort of used to in much science fiction and much, anything depicting robots. The Separatist army droids are much more like that. The personalities are turned a lot lower than they are for the Astro droids, for any of the good guy droids in Star Wars. But I like the Star Wars droids having these great personalities. So it's a lot of fun to see these sort of droids contrasting against the droids of the Separatist army. So now Mascom's taking them over to maintenance because each of the droids is going to get something done to aid them on the mission. And, for R2, that's getting enhanced rocket boosters. For QTKT, that's getting this like little probe thing that will take control of the mines when that part of the plan comes to be. So they're all getting enhanced. One's going to get like a fancy laser cutter. And then unfortunately, one droid's getting his memory banks taken out because they want to be able to put a command center in his dome for Meeber Gaskin to sit in and kind of, be boots on the ground with the whole situation. So that poor droid's going to have a rough go of things to begin with. I had some issues with that. Taking out a droid's memory bank seems like basically, like you're lobotomizing the droid. That upset me a little bit. But as we are entering this area here, from the briefing room now over to maintenance, this is going to be one of our first moments of Whack and Meeber kind of getting into it and kind of seeing how they're going to be each other's foils in this episode. And I want to go ahead and play that first kind of combative verbal sparring between the two.
Over here, you mechs. Front and center. This is Dr. Gubacher. He is...
Corporal?
Colonel.
Right. Well, I just want to set the record straight. I am not a mech. You called us all mechs back there, but as you can see, I am a whack. Granted, my master is not a Jedi, but I am a different class of droid. Better engineering.
As I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted.
All right, so he's just going to lay out what enhancements each of the droids is going to get to make the mission objectives more achievable. Oh, and just for the record, Dr. Gubacher is super weird. Like, I think they're trying to give like a very big mad scientist kind of vibe off of him. It's we've seen his species in prior episodes, but to sort of see this one as like a mad scientist kind of character is very, very interesting. The way he's kind of moves around the droids. Pay attention to like the way he's moving around, the way he sort of caresses the droids at certain times. It's very, very strange, but interesting. It's an interesting visual performance. So our robot companions, our droid companions, take off for the mission, and now it's all about getting aboard that Separatist dreadnought. And how do we do that? Well, Gaskin has a plan to do that, but good thing Whack has his own plan and takes it upon himself to show some initiative to the Colonel, who he keeps calling Corporal. And again, is Whack coming off too strong? Are you upset that this droid just can't follow simple instructions? Or you got to allow for the personalities of the droids, right? At least I think so. This is the classic Homer Simpson moment of broken or made better. And according to Whack, he's making the plan better. So let's go ahead and check this out. As Gaskin's not going to be real delighted with what with what Whack has done to gain access to the Separatist dreadnought.
All right, Cyclops, listen up. I want you to alert me when we near the dreadnought. I have a plan on how to attract their attention.
Relax. I already took care of it.
What do you mean? What did you do?
I put us on a collision course with the dreadnought.
It's a great plan. I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. And while it may not be what Gaskin wants to have happen, it works. They are able to be on the ship. They get brought in via tractor beam, and battle droids come to search the ship, looking for life forms, looking for Republic soldiers, looking for anything. And it's again sort of like this weird droid racism exists between the battle droids and the astro droids, as the battle droids are just very dismissive to the astromechs. And but again, you get a little bit of that too from, we heard it in the last clip. Gaskin, derogatorily referring to Whack as Cyclops because he got the one optic center, right? Calling him Cyclops, not calling him by his designation. It's droid racism at its finest, and Gaskin is gonna have to learn by the end of this episode to be a better commander in that sense. So our droids are able to. They're going to be escorted by some battle droids for interrogation to see what they know, get whatever's out of their memory banks, any kind of intel that the Separatists can use. And our droids turn the table on those battle droids pretty quickly and eliminate them. Now it's time for the next part of the plan, and then we'll let Meeber lay it out for us.
All right, listen up. The next phase of my plan is to reach C deck. We'll take this path here. Since the mechs won't draw much attention, we'll go in a convoy. Cyclops, you lead the way. If anyone asks, you're taking the droids on a repair job. Got it?
Yes, sir. Captain.
It's Colonel. I swear, Cyclops, you are gonna drive me crazy.
So as we progress our way through the Separatist dreadnought, each of the droids is going to have the specific task to perform. One's about to do the laser cutter. And Whack is the one who is sort of trying to remind the droids, like, hey, before you use your laser cutter, remember how powerful it was when you got it installed. You got to make sure your clamps are on so that you don't fly backwards. Well, he says it too late. But at least he was making the effort because Meeber doesn't say anything. Meeber is just making this presumption that they're going to do and execute the way that he has it in his mind. He's not being an effective communicator, which is bad leadership, in my humble opinion. Whack is trying, but this laser discharge going off begins to signal the Separatists that maybe there's something going on in C deck they should start paying attention to.
Sir, there was a temporary power loss on C deck.
Has the power been re-established?
Yes, it was only a temporary fluctuation.
Curious.
But again, just the first sign that they're paying attention to. Next time something bad happens on the C deck, they're going to know about it. All right, so the plan's it's unfolding really, really well. Whack's even able to distract some super battle droids, get them locked into a storage closet while he's running tests under the guise of running tests. And they're like, sort of like, that's weird, but okay, well, you said you're here from Grievous, so we believe you. Why not? Meanwhile, something bad's about to happen. And again, you'll hear Whack try to step up and be the leader, trying to remind the droids, like BZ in particular is about the one that's getting into trouble. And BZ is the one that Gaskin is housed inside. He's the droid. BZ is the droid they had removed the memory banks from so that Gaskin could put in his command center in his dome. And he's about to do something. And let's go ahead and check it out, because this is when things take a turn.
We need to keep moving. Beast, open the comm vault security door.
Make sure it is not booby-trapped.
You blockhead! Now we're going to lose manual override.
All right, so I'm going to pause it right there because it is going to take a turn here, and listen to the emotion from the droids, the realization of what's just happened, and Gaskin has to face up to what he's done here.
You terminated BZ.
It's not my fault he fried his circuitry. I didn't tell that nitwit to attack the access panel.
So what do we do now, Corporal?
Look, we can still salvage this mission. If one of you could just... You need to re-access that panel, and we have to open that comm vault door fast and grab the encryption module before we're caught red-handed. No, I will not do it myself. I'm an officer. I've got no experience in this type of crisis maneuver.
All right, so this is what we're finding out about. But yeah, some big learning points here. Pay attention. This is important stuff. And Whack, again, going to put him on the spot.
You fought in the Battle of Genosis. That did not prepare you for a crisis?
Well, technically I didn't fight in that battle. I'm a military analyst by trade, and...
You are a map reader?
I love the droids laughing. That's great stuff. And then, again, Wax is going to put Gaskin's feet to the fire here. He's going to put him on the hot seat, if you will. And this is good. Gaskin has to learn that he can't just... be like this. This is not the way to be an effective leader, even especially looking down at droids, believing them to be subservient to you. It's not how this works.
I am an accomplished battlefield strategist. I analyze the enemy terrain and plot a course to victory.
In other words, you read maps.
You're off base here, Cyclops. I was chosen for my fearsome cunning, although my size may have played a small factor. But do not think for a moment that Colonel Meeber Gascon is going to relinquish command of this mission. I have waited a lifetime for this opportunity, and some ragtag collection of droids is not going to deny me my destiny. So one way or another, I will open that comm vault door.
And meanwhile, R2-D2 has just opened the comm vault door.
Oh, there, just like I planned it. Now, we're going to infiltrate this vault, neutralize the swarm mines, and then secure the encryption module. Any questions?
Have you ever been in a battle before?
No, I have not. But if you'd care to see what I'm made of, we can go to war right now, you and me, and probably get ourselves captured by a separatist. Or we can execute my plan and come out of this mission looking like heroes. The choice is yours, Cyclops.
First of all, my name is Whack. Second of all, we will execute your plan. But you have to stop calling us stupid names, Shorty.
Very well, Whack. I'll play nice, but only until one of you screws up again.
Turning point has been achieved. And the rest of the droids, they're going to go to complete the mission with BZ down behind them, and they're not happy about that. You can tell, and rightly so. And good for Whack and the rest of the droids standing up for themselves. I thought that was awesome. I love it. Meanwhile, all the shenanigans are not going unnoticed up on the command deck of the Dreadnought.
Sir, there has been another disturbance on C deck.
I will investigate this situation personally.
There you go. So now QT is going to get the mines, and again we're going to get into the big third act here with some conflict as the Separatists are going to come around and find the droids attempting to steal the encryption module, They turn off the gravity. There's some good stuff in here. I'm going to find a nice sound clip and kind of summarize the end of the battle here. But a lot of it relies on Meeber Gascom realizing that he's in this with the droids and the droids are in this with him, and they need each other to complete the mission, and they have to work together, and they have to be kind of like equal partners all the way around. It's each one's got to pull on the rope in the same way, same strength, or they're all going to be in trouble here and not make it out, get captured by the Separatists, get turned into scrap. All those scenarios are on the table. So I very much enjoy how this action sequence ends here. Once the gravity is restored and everyone goes crashing back down, and the strategy bot, the Separatist strategery droid, if you will, grabs Meeber Gascom and begins like he's going to crush him. And that's when R2 releases his suction cup, plummets down, crushing the strategy droid and severing its head. Nice little resolution here. But again, this is like this is sort of like D Squad coming together as a team, right, to achieve the goal.
I'll take that. Good work, R2. Let's move it out, D-Squad!
All right, and now we come up to the part that gets me. No droid left behind.
What are you doing? We're going to get caught!
R2 says we cannot leave BZ behind.
R2's right. We can repair him on the shuttle.
There's trouble on C-Deck. Report there immediately.
And that familiar warning klaxons. I love that. I love hearing that. Gets me all pumped up. Thinking of Rogue One. Anyways. Just because that was blaring through the trailers for Rogue One. Anyways, I'm reminiscing needlessly. Let's go ahead and finish up this episode. Hang on. And we're going to do that by showing more battle droids being mean to other droids.
Get out of the way, you stupid astromechs.
So another perfect moment of battle droids being just dumb. They're confined to their programming in bad ways. Because Meeber Gascom hiding on the back of U9's swivel head. They don't even see him, and he's got the encryption module right behind him.
Funny thing about droids, last thing they'd expect to betray them, another droid. D-Squad, let's go home.
All right, and that's pretty much what they're going to do. Let's go ahead and wrap up this episode right here as our friends take off from the Separatist Dreadnought.
My first mission, a rousing success, and a brilliant plan, if I do say so myself. I agree, R2. The team's execution was not too shabby. Who knows? You droids might just make decent soldiers after all. Oh, and you too, Whack.
Yes, sir, Colonel.
There you go. And Whack finally calls the Colonel. And we seem to have a really solid ending to this episode. Seems like Meeber Gascom has learned some humility, has learned to rely on each of the unique characteristics of that these droids have to bring to the table to achieve the mission and be successful. And that's going to be pushed to the limits in the next installment. Just wait. I can't wait to talk to you all about Sunny Day in the Void. Again, probably the most maligned episode of Star Wars, The Clone Wars, that exists in the world. I dig this episode. I think it's a lot of fun. I like the arc overall, but I think this is a really solid first beginning here. You know, you have like the Enigma machine kind of parallel, some World War II kind of thing, throwbacks, callbacks, whichever you will. And I dig that. I'm into that. I'm here for that. And, again, so much of Star Wars from George Lucas from the mind of Lucas was sort of inspired by, World War II fighters and World War II movies and the whole history of the conflict. So it's very much paying homage to its roots. So I really dig this episode. This is 8 buckets for me. I love the droids. I think they're fantastic. And again, Wack comes off a little strong at first. He comes on a little strong at first, but by the end of the episode, when he has that moment in the middle of the section of the episode, putting Meeber Gascom's feet to the fire, if you will, he really comes into his own, and I like him a lot. Obviously, we like R2. We love the Astro droids. So good stuff. I'm really into it. I'm here for all 4 of these droid-based episodes. D-Squad, baby. Let's do this. We're going to crush it. We are going to crush it so bad with these D-Squad episodes because I don't know about how other Star Wars podcasts look at the D-Squad episodes, but I am here for them all day, day. All right? Let's go ahead and wrap this puppy up. Thank you so much for listening to the show. As always, I truly, truly appreciate everyone who takes the time to download, listen, and share the show on social media. You are all the best, kindest, most wonderful people. You are the shining example of what Star Wars fandom is supposed to be. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Please make sure you're reaching out to us on social media. We're at Mando_Vision, Twitter, Instagram. You can email the show long form, MandoVisionTom@gmail.com. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, following, and sharing the show with all the Mandalorians in your covert. If you want to support the show, take a few minutes, give us a sweet, sweet, sweet 5-star review. Those are really, really helpful. And I truly appreciate everyone who takes the time to do it. And if you did it before, you can do it again. They don't stop you. Just hit those 5s. Boom. Change the game. Truly appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, they really do help the small podcasts get a little extra attention from the algorithm who likes to ignore us so often. Thank you. If you want to become an official Mandovision Maniac, if you want to join Buckethead Nation, you can do that over at patreon.com/Mandovision. You can join the Maniacs and gain access to sweet bonus content, which is usually, at least 1 to 2 extra shows a month. Not always Star Wars based, and kind of like some blog type posts and sharing of new trailers and things that are catching my eye, things that are interesting, just kind of like talking point things. Thank you to our current Mandovision Maniacs, the Aspen Hill Chody, the Batman Abejo, Jeff Nail. Jeff's co-hosting The Ring and Ear, a podcast I wish would come out more often. Thanks to Evil Circle, the evilest of all circles, the Squid Master General, Mr. Brian Broussard, the New Jersey Devil, Mark Wegemer, our very own Joker and Harley Quinn, Brian and Krista of Pariah Brewing here in San Diego and Baltimore, Maryland, the Beer Hop Brigadier General, Jesus Beer Hops, the Silent Assassin, he who shall not be named, and Syndicate Ram, co-host of Come On! It's Still Good, a great movie podcast that comes out all the time. So be sure to check those out, and thank you to everyone for sticking around. New Patreon show. There's probably one out there for you. Don't worry. It's there. All right, let's get out of here. We'll be back next week with another shining installment of the D-Squad entries. And the most infamous, potentially, depending on your point of view, of the entire Star Wars, The Clone Wars run. A Sunny Day in the Void. All right, Bucketheads. Let's do this. This podcast can only end one way. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
I would like to see the baby.